What is up, everybody? Welcome to the dungeon. I am about to do your tarot readings for the next week for all the zodiac signs, Aries through Pisces. Keep in mind, these readings are general and they may not resonate with everybody. I'm going to be pulling one card for the general energy of the week and one card for the love energy of the week. A lot of times people want to know about love, but not everybody has love in their life. So let's go ahead and get started. What's going on with Aries over the next month? What kind of energy will Aries encounter over the next month? It's going for the next month. I'm sorry, you guys. Over the next week. But by the way, I just finished recording the general monthlies and we'll be uploading them soon on Patreon. The link should be in the description box if you guys want to go subscribe over there. So, what's going on with Aries this week? What kind of energy will Aries encounter? Okay, so Aries, I think you might be feeling a little feisty. We have the Knight of Wands here, so you are quick to react and quick to react with attitude because you love reacting with attitude. It's just part of your personality. You know, the people who know you did it and don't take it personally. And the people that do take it personally, they don't have to be around. They can go on somewhere else, you know. And that's kind of how you feel about it. Like, if anybody has a problem with your attitude, they can fuck off. That's where you are with that right now. You might be having a bunch of different ideas and trying to do all of them at once. So it's very hard for you to make commitments at this time. Because I feel like you are trying to do a lot of stuff in a small amount of time, in a very short period of time. I feel like that. So, all right, let's see what's going on in your love life. Oh, let me put our banner up. My bad. Oh, wait, we're going to Taurus. No, we're still on Aries because we're doing your love life. Sorry about that. All right, what is going on in Aries' love life for the next week? What kind of energy will Aries encounter? Okay, Aries, in your love life, you're feeling very deeply, very strongly with your emotions. So if you're in love or meeting somebody new, you have a very deep attraction. It's overwhelming. You may be in that state where like you feel just overwhelmed with affection. It's got you feeling all warm and fuzzy inside. It's just so intense. And I don't think you expected this to happen. I don't think you expected this to happen because of your attitude, you know. But I think this person, or you feel like this person gets you. On the other side, if things are not going so well in your love life, it is really tearing you apart. It's really tearing you apart, and you may be doing a lot of, I want to say impetuous, but I don't know if that's the right word. Compulsive. I don't know if that's the right word either. You may be just doing a whole lot of things without like realizing it. You're just going in a whole bunch of different places and you're carrying this sadness deep within you. And so as you're trying to take all this stuff on and feeling like you're going to a bunch of different places, you are feeling such a deep level of emotion that you will be lashing out on some people. So sucks to be them. But again, if it's somebody that really cares about you, they'll know and understand what's going on and hopefully be more forgiving. But I must tell you, Aries, if you're being toxic or destructive with that attitude, that needs to be checked and worked on. Because it's one thing for a person to be understanding of you being in a mood, and it's another thing for a person to accept being talked to and treated like shit in an attempt to be understanding, quote unquote. So, just be careful there. Let's move on to Taurus. What is up? Happy Tuesday. Happy Tuesday. All right. What is going on with Taurus over the next week? What kind of energy will Taurus encounter over the next week? What's going on with Taurus? Taurus, you have the Queen of Wands. So you are feeling very good about yourself. You're feeling very confident in what it is that you desire. Maybe even if you aren't feeling so great about yourself, perhaps if you are struggling with a little bit of insecurity, you are still confident about what it is that you want and going after that. And faking it, at least faking it till you make it. Like if you're feeling any bit insecure about what's going on, you're gonna fake it till you make it, because you have your mindset and you know what you want and you're going after it. You are feeling extremely passionate about what's going on, and anything that tries to get in the way of what it is you're trying to do is gonna cause an extreme outburst. You won't hesitate to put somebody in their place or tell somebody to fuck off if they're getting in the way of you achieving what you're trying to achieve in your life, or making you feel any worse than you may already feel, or making you feel worse, period. You know what you want, you have the abilities that you need to have to get it, and you are in a place where you're not trying to let anybody hold you back from that. And if anybody does, it's going to cause some problems. It really is. Let's see what's going on in your love life, Taurus. What is going on in Taurus's love life over the next week? What kind of energy is going on in Taurus's love life over the next week? Taurus, you have the Fool. So if you have met somebody recently, you are very uncertain about where things are going. You don't know what's going to happen, but you're going to go with the flow. You're going to go with the flow and trust the situation and try to be optimistic about what could happen. Because at this point, you don't know, so you're not trying to think the worst at all. You're trying to think positive about this situation. Some of you who have been in relationships that have perhaps been going through a difficult time, you may be having a hard time trusting your partner. You may feel like, since you guys have been having so many issues, that it would definitely be risky for you to give them the benefit of the doubt or a pass, if you will. Forgive them. You're not sure you should go there because you don't trust them. You don't trust that they won't do it again. Perhaps because you've been through this cycle already where they're like, oh, I'm sorry, I'm not going to do it anymore. And then they keep doing it. And not only do they keep doing it, they don't do anything to try to break the habit. Like if it's a subconscious habit or a learned habit, they're not trying to do anything to change it. So, or they have not shown that they are doing anything to change it. And so it's very risky. You don't really trust you don't trust them, basically. You're having a hard time trusting them, and you're very testy. You're very short with them because you don't trust them. So, all right, moving on with, and if you are single, let's just bring this up too. If you're single, you may be feeling open and optimistic about potentially meeting somebody. You're like, you know what? Maybe I want to date now. I want to have a good time no matter what, but I'm open to falling in love. You may be feeling optimistic about that. So, all right. Moving on to Gemini, my Gems. Let's see what's going on with Gemini over the next week. What is going on with Gemini? What kind of energy will Gemini encounter over the next week? Gemini, you have the Eight of Wands. So there is, I want to say there's a lot of communication, but I really feel like I should focus more or emphasize more that there is a lot of communication that needs to be had. There are a lot of things that need to be discussed right now. You're trying to move forward in a particular area of your life, but a conversation needs to be had. And so if that conversation does not occur at this point over the next week, well, you're basically waiting to hear back from this person. And it's delayed, which is very, very frustrating to you. But like, really, what can you do about it? You can't do anything about it. Like, you can't control what other people do and how quickly they respond and all that stuff. But I feel like once that conversation, finally is had, things will be able to move forward more, rather quickly. See what's going on in your love life, Gemini. What is going on in Gemini's love life over the next week? What's going on in Gemini's love life over the next week? Okay, you have the Nine of Wands. So you may be trying to get somewhere in your relationship or in regards to building a relationship. And you've been putting work into this, but you've hit a snag. Any progress that has been occurring has come to a halt. Something has happened. And until you are able to deal with this, there's really not much more progress you can have moving forward. I think this involves things that have occurred in the past in this relationship or in past relationships, and it has been really detrimental to your growth. In fact, it has stunted your growth. And these are things that you need to cut through and let go of, because you will not to be able to move forward in your love life until this happens. It's stunting your growth. Period. Now, this could be a relationship. This could be issues in a relationship. Either way, it has to go. And you have to figure out what you're going to do about it. You're going to have to figure out how that is going to happen, which can be very frustrating to you and very stressful, because you just want to like get to your destination. You don't want to deal with all the bullshit, and you feel like you're almost there. Like you're almost there. You can see what it is that you want starting to manifest, but you cannot get to it until you deal with this. Period. Okay. Let's see. We are moving on to Cancer. What's going on with Cancer over the next week? What kind of energy will Cancer encounter over the next week? How will it affect them? How will they deal with it? What's going on with Cancer? Cancer, you have the Queen of Swords. So you may be kind of detaching yourself from your emotions and your feelings, or you're trying to. You're really trying to handle business. Perhaps there's a lot of stuff that has um, been piling up and needed to be taken care of, but it's been put off because you were so caught up in your emotions, and that's why you're trying to detach now, because you need to catch up now. Let's see, this may involve dealing with paperwork, going through books. Maybe you're focusing on studying, um, perhaps taking on a class. You're trying to move on from where you have been. You're trying to move forward with clear eyes, non impeded by your emotions. Because, you are very well aware that they can blind you. You know, being so emotional, it it actually is a gift because you can see and feel things other people can't. But it can also be a curse because you can feel. It can also feel. Let's say that, not be. It can also feel like a curse because of how intensely you feel and how hard it is for you to kind of function when you are caught up like that. So yeah, very important for you to detach right now. You feel like you've been caught up in your emotions for too long, and it's time to handle business. It's time to get back to business and be matter of fact about what you got going on. Let's see what's going on in your love life, Cancer. These are boss vibes. Let's see what's going on in your love life, Cancer. Cancer, you have the Page of Cups. So, you may have met somebody new that you really like. There could be some flirtation going on. There's definitely some communication going on, but you're not trying to take it too seriously right now because you're trying to handle business and you're trying to detach from your emotions. So you're not taking however you're feeling in regards to your love life too seriously right now. But you're open to being flirtatious and whatnot. Um, if you are already in a relationship and you and your partner may have been going through a difficult patch, or even if it isn't difficult, I feel like the more that you talk to each other, the more that you communicate with each other, the more you will feel connected to each other. And it's kind of building a foundation um, when you when you love like this. Instead of just the love bombing, straight running into it head first. Not thinking, like, getting married within a month. It happens. You know, we all make mistakes, right? But I think you're trying to learn from them. I think you're trying to learn from the mistakes that you've made in the past, and yeah, put your priorities first. Handle business first, and your love life second. And if it's even there, if you even have a love life, because like you may not even be talking to anybody you're dating, but you are being um, very, very kind and affectionate to the people that are close to you, and giving. But I think that with some people, there may need to be a conversation where there is an apology involved, or there will be a conversation that involves an apology, or somebody taking accountability for something. But I think there may be an issue with whomever is taking accountability to really see where they need to. So it may take a little bit for it to happen, but it's very it's of high importance in regards to your love life. All right, moving on. Let's see what is going on with Leo. What is going on with Leo over the next week? What kind of energy will Leo encounter over the next week? What is going on with Leo? Leo, you have the Five of Swords, so you may be having a rough week. You may be dealing with a lot of drama, either just by circumstances or with the people that you're dealing with or involved with, or both. It's just going to be a rough week. There may be some really difficult conversations that need to be had as a result of this drama and chaos. Misunderstandings, however this drama manifests, it's something that you have to deal with. There's no avoiding it at all. Because if you avoid it, that will just create more drama. So, I think you know that, and it's not that you're afraid to address things. It's just that you're not looking forward to the conversation. You're not looking forward to the work that you got to put in to resolve the conflict. All right, but you got to do it. You got to do it. All right, let's see what's going on in your love life, Leo. What is going on in Leo's love life over the next week? Leo, you have the Queen of Wands, so you are feeling very confident, very assertive in regards to your love life. If you're single, and you see something you like, going after it. You may be just really feeling yourself in general. You're like taking care of yourself, you're looking good, you're getting a lot of attention, you're loving it, of course, because you're Leo. The thing is, if you're not single, you are still getting this attention. You're still feeling yourself. You're still looking good. You're still getting this attention. And so that may be causing conflict with your partner because of their insecurities. They don't feel confident in their relationships. They don't feel in your relationship. They don't feel confident that you love them. And it's not because you're not showing love and affection. It's just they're insecure. They have a hard time believing that someone like you could feel a deep, affectionate love for them, and it be real, and it be lasting, and it be loyal. So you could be dealing with some drama from your partner or somebody that you've been seeing because you've been getting a lot more attention, and yeah, they're insecure, so they've been acting a fool. But I think you might call them out on it because you're feeling very assertive, but you can be a little careless with your words too. You might even be like, "You're just fucking insecure," I guess that's not really cute. The fucking makes it seem a little bit more harsh, but and telling somebody they're insecure, nobody likes hearing that. But I mean, where's the lie? And you don't necessarily mean it as an insult. Like certain people, your partner will be like, "Hey, everything's fine. It's fine. I love you. Everything's good. You're just feeling insecure." Whereas in other scenarios and conversations, it's like, "I'm not doing anything. You're just fucking insecure." See how there's with one vibe there is a level of reassurance there and understanding, and Then another, it's just like, oh my God, you're acting a fool because you're insecure. You know, like, this is just too much. You're just insecure. You're talking to me like shit and being shit to me because I look good and you're insecure, you know? So, if you truly care about the person you're with, it will be more of the first scenario where you're trying to reassure them and let them know, hey, you have nothing to worry about. Okay? Yeah. All right, let's move on. Oh, and also there could be a lot of other people that feel intimidated by you, and they may have envy. So they may see you and think you got it going on, you got a lot going for you, and just be envious because you're getting this attention, because people are noticing you. Feel me? All right. Let's see what's going on with Virgo. What is going on with Virgo over the next week? What's up with my Virgos? What is going on with Virgo over the next week? Virgo, you have the Justice card. So now is the time to make a decision. Um, you've reached the deadline. This is something that you've had to contemplate for a while and think about for a while. Well, now it's time to decide. It's now or never. This is something that you may have been putting off because you're trying not to be too emotional about it, but you're also trying not to be illogical and too detached, not to be too logical and be detached, because you understand how this natural vibe you put off, because this is kind of like naturally how you are and the vibe that people get for you. Um, you don't want to be too logical. It has a lot to do with you detaching yourself from your emotions, and you're not trying to do that. You want to try to find some sort of balance, because I think on some level you want to be able to relate to other people or empathize with other people, even if you can't relate to them or they can't relate to you. You know, you like to be able to relate to them, but at the same time, you got to be realistic about the situation. So, very important decision to make. It could involve a commitment of some sort, something coming to an end, and something else beginning. Um, Deciding to leave a situation and start anew. You know, you're just trying to figure out what the best option is for you. You don't want to be impulsive and make any decisions that you regret based upon how you feel, because I think you at a point where you're so uncomfortable with your situation that it is making you feel all different types of ways, and you understand that that is preventing you from thinking clearly, you know. But you also understand that it's important to take how you feel into consideration. It's important for you to honor your feelings. This may not be something that you have understood before, but it's something you're starting to learn now. And if it's not something you've even considered before, well, maybe you should now. All right. Let's see what is going on in your love life, Virgo. What's going on in your love life? What kind of energy will you encounter in your love life? And I think, you know, just in regards to your love life, being too detached definitely has caused issues in your relationship. Okay, Virgo, you have the Queen of Wands as well. So, again, you're feeling good, you're feeling confident, you know what you want, you're going after it, and even if there is, even if you don't get the response that you want, even if you do feel rejected, you're not going to let it bring you down, you're not going to let it get to you, because you're starting to see the acceptance that, you know, that's just the way it is. If things aren't If it's not a situation that can be worked out, then you just have to accept it and move on and just not let it drag you down, because it's not necessarily a bad thing that it's not working out. It's just the way it is right now. You feel good either way. You feel good alone, you feel good in your relationship. Either way, you feel confident. Um, borderline arrogance. Borderline arrogance, so be good to check yourself. Always check yourself before you wreck yourself. Always. Especially in relationships. You can't really connect with somebody if you're like super puffed up and full of yourself. Any type of quote unquote connection is just an illusion. Because in order for there to be a connection, there needs to be two parties involved. And if it's just about you and all of what you want, and your ego and your arrogance and your pride, and that's just gonna there's no connection. It's just you. It's not you and somebody else. It's just you. There's no connection. There's no, so be very, very careful that you're not overconfident in what you have to offer, because you may not be offering anything at all. And I don't mean that as an insult, like you have nothing to offer. What I mean is you were doing for you. You've been thinking more about yourself when it comes to your love life than the other party. If you are in a relationship with somebody, you've been dating somebody, you've been thinking about yourself more than them. Your feelings have taken precedence. Everything going on with you has a bigger influence and effect over your love life than the other person that you're involved in. And it's like, it's very uneven. It's very uneven. Like, I keep thinking about a line, and it just being very off balance. Like with a line, say we got a line, and then just from here to here, it's a line. So this line is your relationship and your partnership. From here to here, it's all about you in your relationship and what you want, how you feel, how things affect you. And then this other little bitty fingertip of what's left is you considering how the other person feels. So be careful that that's not what's going on. And be careful that somebody else is not treating you that way. All right? Let's move on. All right. Let's see what's going on with Libra over the next week. What kind of energy will Libra encounter? What is going on with Libra over the next week? What kind of energy will Libra encounter? Nine of Swords. So you may be having a very, very difficult time this week, Libra. If it's not just one thing after another happening in life that's just it's a bunch of chaos that's hard for you to deal with. If that's not actually the case externally, internally, it is. Internally, you're a wreck. Internally, you have a bunch of anxiety, and it could be valid. There could be, things going on externally that are triggering this anxiety because you don't know what you're going to do about it. Or you could just be having anxiety and stress and whatnot because of what you're going through inside your mind, what you're trying to work through inside your mind. You're having a very hard time with this. It's stuff that you really can't stop thinking about. You may be struggling with feelings of doubt and insecurity, like you're not good enough, like you can't get things done, or you're not doing anything right. Very, very, very difficult and sad emotions that you may be dealing with and struggling with. You're having a hard time sleeping too, because it's like the way you feel, it's so intense and so overwhelming, and you just, your thoughts are racing. You can't stop thinking about being a failure. Honestly, like, that's what's coming to mind. You can't stop thinking about feeling like you are a failure and fearing being a failure, and not really knowing what to do about the way you feel. You just know it's overwhelming and you're miserable. But this is like highlighting an area that needs to be dealt with. See what's going on in your love life. Like, whatever it is that is triggering these feelings in here, and you gotta try to figure out why these are the feelings being triggered by that. Okay, Libra, in regards to your love life, you have the High Priestess. So perhaps you have met someone that you're very deeply attracted to. You feel like you're connected on a spiritual level very deeply. You feel like you could be very intimate with you, but yeah, you feel like this is somebody you're supposed to meet, but at the same time, you're keeping to yourself. You're not really expressing that to them because you don't want them to feel like weirded out. And not only that, you're just insecure. You don't really feel, you're worried that it's not mutual. And you don't want to put yourself out there, not only expressing feelings, but also expressing feelings of being having a soul time, being connected by, previous lives, if you will. You're worried that that's gonna, freak the person out. So you may be just kind of keeping to yourself. Um, some of you may be actually realizing that a lot of this is in your head. A lot of the insecurities that you may be struggling with in regards to your relationship or your love life, you may be starting to realize that a lot of this is in your head. You may be doing some reading to gain a better understanding of your behavior. So, like self-help books, reading about psychology, just kind of learning more about how certain things affect the way certain people behave in relationships, and trying to figure out how that affects you and what you can do to change it. Because these feelings, this feeling of misery and insecurity, it's been detrimental. Because you can't fully enjoy what you have if you feel like you're not good enough for it. So a lot of you may be just kind of distancing yourself from your partner and working on yourself. And if you don't have a partner, you're distancing yourself from people and working on yourself. Either way, you're working on yourself, and that is very good because it looks like you've been having a very hard time. So, you're not trying to let other people mess with your thought processes or have an influence on your thought processes. Like, you want to figure this out on your own. You don't want other people to tell you what it is and how to think and how to feel. You want to find that answer on your own because you know that it's different. While it may be the same for a lot of people, it's still different for everyone. So kind of like the same energy, different experiences, individual experiences type vibes. So whether you are in a relationship or not, you are somewhat detached from your love life because what's going on inside your mind, this despair that you're dealing with, it's getting in the way of you connecting with somebody. All right, truly connecting with somebody. Let's see what's going on with Scorpio. What is going on with Scorpio? do something real quick, right? Okay. Scorpio, what is going on with you over the next week? What kind of energy will Scorpio experience over the next week? What's going on with Scorpio? Scorpio, you have the Two of Wands. So you may be in a situation where you have to make a lot of decisions over the next week. There are a bunch that, well, I don't know, there may not be a bunch. There's a couple, let's just say there's a couple or a few different directions you can go in. And you are trying to decide and figure out which one would work best for you. You may be seeking the advice of somebody, not necessarily because you're going to do what they say. You just feel like there's something you're not seeing, and that maybe somebody else can point it out to you. Maybe, you feel like you're missing something, and you feel like communicating with somebody else about this will help you figure it out, either through what they tell you or something they say in conversation that leads you to an aha moment, that helps you make the final decision. See what's going on in your love life, Scorpio. Scorpio, you have the Page of Swords. So with the Page of Swords, you are kind of detached from your partner, and you may be communicating very little. When you are, you may be kind of short. That you actually may be coming off very cold. You feel like there's something about the situation that you're not seeing. There's something about the relationship that you're not seeing. And so you're taking a step back so that you can try and figure it out. You're not making any rash movements or rash decisions about what's going on in your relationship. You are just observing so you can figure it out. You're not trying to rush into anything. You may be trying to get to know somebody. So, like, say if there is conversation going on between you and somebody new, you may be speaking very, very little about what's going on with you, and asking them questions about them and letting them talk about them more. Because you want to know more about what's going on with them before you make any decisions on how to deal with this situation moving forward. Some of you could be like on the apps, or just doing online dating. Either way, you're not really opening up too much. You're trying to get to know people, but you want to know them. You don't want them to know you. Very private, but I think it's a defense mechanism. You want to be in a place where you feel safe to let somebody know you. And I don't think you're in that place right now. But you want to be. So you're stepping back and giving yourself time to get to that place. What is up, Drewski? Cheers. Welcome. Let's see. going on with my Saggies? Okay, what's up, Sagittarius? What kind of energy will Sagittarius encounter over the next week? What is going on with Sagittarius over the next week? What kind of energy will Sagittarius encounter over the next week? Sagittarius, you have the Ace of Swords, so you may be hurting a lot of feelings this week, or you just may be very moody and kind of like going off on people. Just, yeah, being quick to lose your temper. Sometimes it's justified, sometimes it's not. The way you see it is the truth hurts, and you're just being honest. You're just being real. You may be having to sever ties with certain people in your life, certain situations in your life, in order for you to start something new and grow from there. Start over fresh. You're coming to an end of the cycle, of a cycle, and a beginning of another. But in order for you to get to the next cycle, you have to cut something out from the previous. And this could involve some harsh words. Oops. What's going on in your love life, Sagittarius? It's kind of how you feel like, oops. Sorry, not sorry. Okay, Sagittarius, we have the Two of Pentacles. So, you're a little confused about what to do in regards to your love life. You're not sure how to feel about the person you're with, the person you've been seeing. Maybe you've been seeing multiple people, so you're really not sure about how you feel about the people you've been seeing. But I think it's getting to a point where it's like it's time to make a decision. It's getting to a point where multiple people are starting to develop serious feelings, and if you allow it to move forward, you're going to end up with multiple serious relationships. You don't want that. You don't want that. That's too much work. It's enough work as it is now to juggle multiple relationships, you know. It's time to kind of make a decision as to who you really want to be with and who you need to let go of. You and your partner may be sharing responsibilities, like taking turns sharing responsibilities. And if that is not happening, there is going to be a conversation, probably possibly triggered by an argument or a snide comment that happens to where it's like, hey, I need you to actually be my partner. I need you to do this sometimes. I need a break and I need you to take over sometimes. Because when you need a break, I got you. So I need you to have my back the way I have your back. Let's make this an equal partnership. So there may be some harsh words. Like I said, it may not come out as easily as it just came out of me, or nicely. But, the person, if this person knows you, they know that sometimes when you say things, they sound worse than how you mean them. So you're taking that into consideration and continue the conversation to gain more clarity, to get to the heart of the matter, instead of taking something personally and just running with it. And that goes for you as well. All right. Let's move on to Capricorn. Let's see what's going on with Cappy. What is going on with Capricorn over the next week? What kind of energy will Capricorn encounter? What's going on with Capricorn over the next week? Capricorn, you have the Four of Wands, so you may be extremely focused on your home life, your home, fixing it up. Perhaps you're moving, getting ready to move. You may be entering into some sort of commitment, so perhaps you're starting a job or becoming more comfortable at your job, like developing more security there, a secure role. Some of you may be meeting somebody and having a developing some sort of relationship with them. Um, there may be something that you both, like a common goal that you both want to commit to and commit to working together to reach this goal. Okay, let's see what's going on in your love life, Capricorn. What is going on in Capricorn's love life over the next week? What is up with Capricorn? Capricorn, you have the Queen of Pentacles. So yeah, you are focused on your home. You are focused on your work. You're focused on your work because you are providing for your home. You're providing for your family, and it's so important. You're very successful. You're a very successful businessman or businesswoman. So you're very focused on your work. That's what makes you a businessman or businesswoman. But you're not so focused on your work that you're detached from the people you care about. You do what you do for the people you care about. That's the way you see things anyway. Like, this is for you, I'm providing for you. Yes, I'm taking care of myself too, but I'm doing this for you. That's how you feel. Some of you may be regaining your power after leaving a very destructive relationship or a situationship that made you question your worth and your ability to go after what you know you can achieve. And so the situation may have come to an end or you're moving on from it. If it has already ended, you're finally getting to a point where you're feeling like you again. You're reclaiming your power, stepping into your abundance and finding joy and love from within. And as a result of you doing this, you will attract bugs with your light, but you will also attract people on the same level. Your vibe attracts your tribe. So there will be the bugs, that are attracted to your light, but then there will also be other lights that see your light. So you just gotta recognize that you can do it. You can be successful. You can have a healthy relationship. You are worth it. You do have it within you. You're no longer feeling worthless. You know your worth. You know your worth. And knowing your worth is what's going to make your relationship better. Because even if you're in a situation where you realize that the other person doesn't know your worth, now that you know it, you're going to remove yourself from that situation. And in time, you will meet somebody who knows it as well. Granted, it might be a while, and you might get impatient, but just know that the best things in life are worth waiting for. So, being patient can actually really help you a lot. It's just very hard to do. All right, let's move on to Aquarius. Let's see what is going on with Aquarius over the next week. What kind of energy will Aquarius encounter over the next week? What is going on with Aquarius? Aquarius, you have the King of Swords, so you are just not feeling people. You don't really want to deal with anybody. You're very closed off to people right now. Um, very cold. You're not really in an emotional state, and part of it is because you don't want to feel emotional. You're trying to maintain your composure, trying to maintain the appearance of being a pillar of strength, because you are. But I think that there have been people who question your ability to achieve things. Um, Even you question your abilities at time, but now you're trying to detach yourself from the feeling that causes you to question your ability, which is insecurity. So you're working on detaching yourself from that emotion and building yourself up because you know what you want, you know how to do it. You may be in a managerial position, in which case, as you were doling out responsibilities, you're going to come off harsh or cold, just very detached. People may not be able to relate to you very well. And I don't know if that's something that's intentional in regards to not being able to relate to people, or if it's just a byproduct of you detaching from your emotions. Like people perceive you as cold and detached as if they can't relate to you. So when in fact you actually want to kind of let somebody know, like, hey, yeah, I do understand. Um, So, like, to a certain extent, you may be starting to recognize how you being so detached, how cold it makes you look, and how heartless you can come off. Um, it's not that you are. I mean, some of you are, but some of you just come off that way. So make sure you're not disconnecting too much from the way you feel, because that could be just as detrimental as getting caught up in it. Let's see what's going on in your love life, Aquarius. What's going on in Aquarius's love life? Aquarius, you have the Two of Swords. So if you and your partner or person have not been seeing eye to eye, you really you want to fix things, but you don't know how to fix things. You don't know how to fix it. And I have a feeling what I just described is part of the problem. Like, I feel like your partner may feel as if you don't really care, as if you're not really affectionate, and this is causing problems, but you don't, maybe they are not communicating it very well, or you just straight up don't know how to be, you don't know how to do those things. Either way, you don't know how to fix the situation. Even if you are not seeing anybody or you're single, I think that there have been things that have happened in previous relationships that you do not know how to bounce back from. Like, it was really traumatizing to you, and you don't know how to collect yourself enough to be in a place where you could be a healthy partner. You have detached from your emotions. So there's a lot of detachment by choice, but also beginning to recognize how that detachment has been destructive to the things that you have been trying to achieve in any connection that you've been attempting to make with other people. Okay, Pisces, my patient Pisces. Let's see what's going on with you. What kind of energy will Pisces encounter over the next week? What's going on with Pisces over the next week? Pisces, you have the Seven of Pentacles. So you may be starting to lose faith. Um, but you're not there. You're starting to become hopeless, but you're not completely hopeless. You know, you still have a little bit of faith. You still have a little bit of hope that things are going to turn around, and that's what keeps you going. That's what keeps you moving forward, and that's what keeps you putting the time and effort and energy into this. Because even though things are not working out the way you want them to immediately, you can see, you just have the faith that it is. Like, this is happening for a reason, because this is meant to work out. And like, you're just getting to a point of frustration because you're starting to second guess yourself. You're starting to doubt yourself. You're starting to be like, okay, wait, but is it? Or am I just wasting my life here going in the wrong direction? You know, you're second guessing yourself. See what's going on in your love life. I mean, what you need to do is nurture the positive things that you have going in your life. That's probably not very many things, but find what it is, even if it's small and seems like it doesn't matter. It does. Acknowledge it. What's going on in Pisces love life over the next week? Okay, we have the King of Cups. So, you're feeling very strongly, maybe in love. Or you are falling in love. You've met somebody that you have very strong feelings about. Very strong feelings about. And you may be going out and having drinks, you know, getting to know each other better. Some of you may be struggling very hard in regards to what has occurred in your love life. Maybe things have not been going so great. And so you may be kind of drowning your sorrows in alcohol or other substances, which is not going to help the situation. If anything, it will make it worse. It'll make you feel worse at the very least. At the very least. Um, Even though you may think that it's making you feel better, it's actually doing the opposite. I think some of you you're just very loving people, um, but right now you don't really see the love in your life. You don't really recognize it because your heart's broken. Something has happened, um, either in your relationship or in a previous relationship, that completely broke you, and you're still struggling with those emotions right now. It's hard for you to focus on the good because you're still struggling internally with the bad. So that really fucking sucks, Pisces. But those are your readings for the next week. I hope they resonate for accuracy purposes, and I'll see you guys next week.